notes? Okay.
Okay, we're back from recess. I know it's gonna be a little tough. We have 30 kids and I think the parents are the loudest out there, but we're just going over the budget for the field house and ice rink, West Warwick Civic Center. So, John, if you want to come up to the mic. Rainey, can you try to get them to settle down out there?
Yeah, where's our sergeant at arms?
Where's the man with the gun?
West Warwick application for home occupation. These kind of sound kind of basic.
Front and back.
Front and back.
I vote yes. Next. I want a forensic audit.
Oh, you have a strenuous objection. Oh, let me put that down.
All right, how you doing, John?
Not too bad, and yourself?
Finance director's in the house.
Good evening. What Fred just handed out is a revised document after meeting with the council at the workshop. We did go back and make some changes, added some additional items. Councilman Giroux Council Vice President Giroux had asked about the insurance, so we did go back and take a look at it. We have allocated the insurance and made a few other changes as recommended during that workshop. So what you have is the revised document, looking to have the public hearing and discussion tonight. It's a two-page document. Front page is the cover, which basically summarizes or presents all of the various types of expenses and revenues, and the back side is the roster or the personnel supplement with the positions and the costs associated with them.
Any questions for John on this budget?
John, what's the total number of full and part-time employees?
That
FTEs?
FTEs, that would be 3, 4, I want to say equivalent of 6.
How many are under the CBA? All 6.
I do not believe that the CBA currently contains any positions for the Civic Center. A previous CBA did.
Are they full-time or part-time?
Some of them are full-time. The positions on the back of the page actually has their hours as far as full-time or part-time, but there are,
None of these are permanent positions. They're all temporary.
they're all considered to be, or they're all proposed to be positions to run.
Well, what we're asking is that you allow us to make them permanent, because the people holding these positions have come from other places, and all of their positions are temporary until we can get them filled.
I actually
And
brought
we have
this up.
And we have several temporary positions that we can't get filled now in DPW because people won't leave a job for a temporary position.
Incorrect. I brought this up last council
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
That if we made the full-time positions permanent positions, and the council in a year or so decides that they want to privatize, we would do the same exact thing as we did last time, and would have to move the positions elsewhere or eliminate those positions. Now, I thought in the last council meeting when we discussed it, I think we gave Fred direction, because he's right. They're posting positions down at the DPW, and people are not applying because they're temporary and they don't even know if they're going to have a job.
They're applying, but they won't take the position.
They won't take the position because it's a temporary position.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get stuck holding the bag after if we decide that we don't want any part of the ice rink.
This is 2 positions right now, 2 full-time union positions. The other full-time position is a non-union position, which is discretionary anyway. Everything else is part-time.
And
So
again,
the whole operation,
No, I am.
non-union part-time, correct.
so those 2 positions, if the council or the town decides that they want to privatize it or lease it out to another company to run it again, those 2 positions, and all the positions could be eliminated with, just like we did the last time. I think, actually, they weren't, they weren't eliminated from a job, but they moved elsewhere in the town and didn't lose their job or their employment. Then they came back, and I'll use, one individual was running that at one time, and he came back as a town employee from a position down at DPW and went back there to help the town bring it back up. So, and if anybody's been up there the last 4 or 6 weeks, I know the ice side's vacant, but definitely has been a big improvement. It's running pretty steadily. It's rented out for the entire September to
March, through
March. it's booked. So at that point, I think by having an employee, a couple of dedicated employees, that we would make their positions permanent and see where we stand a year or two from now as far as budget-wise. And if you wanna go back to leasing it back out, that's fine, but I think by giving them some sort of security right now would be best for the community.
Mr. President, I think, if I'm hearing this correctly, the two full-time employees are going to be part of the Municipal Employees Union.
Correct.
So in the event the matter happens to become privatized, they're still going to be in the union, subject to all the rights of the collective bargaining agreement.
Correct.
No. They'll be able to pump.
Yes.
The issue would be whoever's the two low people on the totem pole would be out of a job.
Correct.
But I don't think those two people that are going to be union people are going to be out of a job. It's just whatever the collective bargaining.
We've done this before. We've gone through this, and again, like you said, the two people on the bottom,
Certainly
based
doesn't tie our
upon
hands.
union rules.
If the council decides to move on, like, just like you did with recycling. If the council decides to move on, we have the management rights to make those moves, including layoffs.
This is, so to make it clear, this is, this Civic Center Enterprise Fund is brand new. This is something, it's so to speak, an experiment, and I hope it succeeds, I really do. I mean, people are excited about it. I still question, whether we should be in the ice business, because we've been in it for a long time, and it's great, for the people that use it, but we've got to make sure that it's not costing the taxpayer, that much money to run it, because the majority are not West Warwick users. But in any case, this is great. I hope it works. But this was designed to be an experiment. Let's see how we do. Let's try this out for a year. Is that correct? Isn't that what you said?
Which we did.
Yeah,
We've gone to a full season,
right.
and again, the recommendation.
After spending a ton of money on the place.
And even with spending a ton of money, we spent well over $170,000.
Yeah.
And we were
We
only.
had no choice. It's not.
Correct.
We had no
correct.
choice. We had to
But
do
we
it.
were only behind, after all said and done, and that's not a complete year under our belt, by about $70,000. So we definitely made more than we would spend on an ordinary year, because that was an extraordinary year with us getting things up to speed. We believe that it is going to be a profitable venture based upon all the numbers we've seen and the operation of the facility. And in fact, we're getting more and more inquiries from people now that they know we have it back.
Yeah, and that's great. You're being very aggressive. That was the problem. I don't know how many
Yeah.
years ago. That was the problem when we decided to lease out. At the time when we were leasing out, we were making $35,000 a year on that facility. That was the profit, $35,000. It really wasn't worth it.
We believe 100,000
No,
plus.
I think it's great. As a matter of fact, hopefully this works and we can even expand this to, Parks and Rec. This is part of Parks and Recreation, although it's an enterprise fund. It's still part of Parks and Recreation,
Right,
I
the
feel.
offer. Yep.
And there's just so many things that we can do. I mean, hopefully next year we can bring back maybe some day programs for our kids.
We're looking at that as well,
It looks promising. We've got the, hopefully we've got the
Playground and.
playground, not hopefully, the playground's going in, but all the other things, maybe a splash pad, that type of thing. It's a great facility. Let's see if it works. As far as the full-time people, I mean, like you explained it well, David. I don't think we've done it before. And you look at it, it's best, if we're gonna make a go with this,
Yeah.
and to get people, we have to make it.
Yeah. To get quality people, we have to make it.
What we call an FTE, full-time equivalent position.
I think what's most important here is that we're doing the finances right. It's not getting buried in the general fund. This is now being treated as a separate fund,
Yeah.
almost like a business entity that the town is managing, which is
And
really,
that-
yeah, see if it's making money, if it's losing money, and I don't totally agree with Ed. I'm okay with the town being in the ice business, being a product of, the West Warwick hockey team and stuff. Like our community, everyone's out in the audience right now for sports. There's so much here in this community geared around the Wizards Association and the sports. I'm all for supporting the ice rink and supporting that, and I want to make that area up at the top of the hill. And Ed, you're doing the right stuff to get it done. That area is going to be second to River Point, I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
by the time
absolutely.
we're done.
Not enough people know about it yet, but they will.
They will soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be a gem up there on the hill.
And as an enterprise fund, I just want to expand a little bit on what Councilman Kenningham mentioned. As an enterprise fund, this budget was put together with the intent of operations and the revenues coming in from operations to support the expenses, as well as make up for some of the for part of the shortfall that occurred this year, although it was much less, as Fred indicated. It is meant to sustain itself, and that's the true definition of the enterprise fund. It would be accounted for, and it is accounted for currently, completely separate from the general fund. So there's no strain or drain on the general fund as it is. It's meant to fully support itself.
And we did give precedent to those leagues as far as the scheduling that have West Warwick families. Just one of those leagues provided us the names of 34 West Warwick families, names and addresses, to show that, they give precedent to West Warwick families as well. So it's definitely getting utilized by West Warwick families, and we intend to increase those numbers.
And we need some signage up there.
I agree with that.
I have been asking for this. We need some signs up there, first of all, announcing, we're running it, the town's running it, and also when it's time for ice time for the public, so they can see it when they're driving by. There's no signage out there. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we've been working on it for a while, so.
Working a lot.
Yeah, I know you are. You are. You're doing a good job, Fred. Thank you.
Any questions for John? Any public questions on the ice rink and field house budget? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Good job, John.
Actually, just to mention, it is on the agenda because it does need an actual vote in the council meeting, so tonight was just meant to be the public hearing.
Oh,
Okay, thanks.
Oh, never mind that.
Later on in the agenda, there's a
Sorry.
This we do need to adjourn, and then we can start right back up.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. We're not taking a recess.
Hold on one sec, Dave.